to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Greetings, AFTERBUZZ TV fans, and welcome to another episode of the Robots in Disguise After Show. I can't do it.
That is the worst Starscream impression I've ever heard.
That wasn't even close to Starscream. That wasn't even close to what Bee was doing. It was. Welcome back to the Robots in Disguise After Show. Thank you so much for watching. I am not Optimus Prime. My name is Katie Cullen. You can follow me on Twitter at Kiaxet, Kiaxet. With me are Megan, Lord Megantron Salinas.
Hi, everybody. You can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
Emma, the Speedster Fyffe.
Hello, yes, I am also part of the AFTERBUZZ TV Robots in Disguise team, and you can find me on Twitter at Emma Fyffe.
In the booth is Alexis the Wrecker Torres.
Hey everybody, that's me, Alexis the Wrecker. Here in the booth, wrecking it down. What up?
Who is evidently a wrestler now.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad someone finally figured it out.
And here, I just thought you blew stuff up. And with us we have two special guests, Supervising Director David Hartman.
Hello.
Hello.
And Episode Director Todd Waterman.
Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing great.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
Great.
We had a fantastic episode to talk about that was wonderful and horribly embarrassing by turns. I can't vouch for anyone else, but I had really bad secondhand embarrassment watching B this episode. Just hurt my
You feeling
soul.
for him? Feeling for B?
I felt so bad for him. It's like, I need to go get a drink. I can't watch this.
There's an element of comedy and all.
Yeah.
There's an element of cruelty in all good comedy.
Yeah.
So I thought it was hysterical.
I thought it was hilarious,
Awesome.
too.
Really bad secondhand embarrassment.
I'm on your side, my dear. I was like, no, none of that. Stop it.
What I really wanted is, I don't know if you guys actually record your table reads, but I really wanted to see down in the booth doing his Optimus impression.
Table read?
Pretty good.
Table read?
Yeah, right?
Well,
We just make this up as we go.
Okay. Yeah, we do those a lot.
There's no script. You just put people in a booth and
more
they're
or
like,
less.
nah, you're a robot
So
that transforms.
Every episode is improv, and then you just animate around that.
I want to see everyone's best Optimus Prime. Everyone's.
In the entire world, just the entire,
cast.
okay.
Troy Baker does Optimus Prime. We would all be like, oh my god.
It'd be a very different Optimus Prime.
Yeah, a little more Megatron. So we're talking about episode 5, WWOD, which we learned a few weeks ago stands for What Would Optimus Do? Not this, evidently.
I just love the what would Jesus do?
I know. Well,
You almost changed it to what would Robot Jesus do?
I was going to say, especially because we have been referring to Optimus Prime as Robot Jesus, so...
I can understand that. Yeah.
Well, now it's confirmed. And we also get some inkling of where he is, kind of?
Sort of.
Somewhere with really bad cell reception. Jeez.
Really bad.
Well, I thought his pizza was coming. That's why you had to go.
I'm on the
Bumblebee
same
has
level.
something important.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Pizza guy's here.
He had the
just-
domino colors on.
Yeah, he just blamed it. He's like, listen, I gotta, and the Prime said this conversation is over, so I gotta peace out. But really,
Yeah.
he was just...
Or maybe Optimus just wasn't feeling it. It's like, this isn't going the way I want. Hey, B, we'll talk later.
I'm imagining Sentinel Prime standing behind him, crossing his arms and just tapping his foot. Some of us have people to call, Optimus.
Sentinel Prime is always a jerk.
Get off the elevator.
Always.
Yeah, put the iPad down. Optimus.
Or yeah, maybe he was just like when people pretend like they're losing cell reception.
What?
Don't you wrestle that paper over the phone. I know that trick. We should just start talking about Optimus then, because we're already there.
Yeah, already talking about it.
We've discovered that B cannot contact him.
No.
It's a one-way connection. And we get this with him talking to what looks like a house of mirrors because Danny has all sorts of mirrors hung up going, Optimus, this is really stupid.
But I like the fact that it's like sitting there and it's like perfectly well done, like it's all in like one wall.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's Danny. He's got a little OCD.
Totally.
And he's a hoarder with OCD.
It's like a very intentional wall of mirrors.
And the shot itself was really well framed and really, it had great composition, very well put together.
There we go, good. It did its job.
Yeah, how many times did we redo that scene?
A couple.
Really?
A couple in the storyboard phase, I think.
Yeah, but it worked out great.
Yeah.
So what were the other incarnations?
Well, I mean, it's still the same thing, but it's getting those right angles and not letting it get too complicated, I think. You know, it's a real short scene with we're trying to get those ideas out really fast. So.
I thought it was touching, too. I mean, it transported you there. With B, and you felt his isolation, I think, a little bit.
Yeah,
it was a good little remember who you are build up that didn't pan out. There was no Mufasa there.
Well, I find it interesting that in trying to contact Optimus, he has to do the one thing that he doesn't really want to, and that's face himself.
Absolutely.
That's
good.
That's reflection and everything like that, and that's his biggest problem is he just doesn't have faith in himself. So.
Which is the theme, the strong theme
of this episode for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I liked the moment in that scene where he was standing in front of the mirrors and he just realized it was completely futile.
It's like, this is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
Well, what's interesting too, though, is that it wasn't. Optimus can hear him just fine.
Yeah.
It's just he can't necessarily pick up the phone. That's all.
Yeah.
He can hear the answering machine, though.
Optimus is just like, guys, let me call him. Let me call him. He's having to. Come on.
Wait, Megan, are you saying that he's like screening his calls through his answering?
I'm saying the Primes are picking up the phone and going, who is this? Are you sure you're his friend from school? Yeah. Well, Optimus can't come to the phone right now. Leave a message, and you'll see him in class tomorrow.
He's doing his chores.
This is good stuff. We should be taking notes for Adam. I think we can work this in.
Oh yeah, totally.
Hey, we're free.
Yeah, exactly.
So are we today.
No, you're not. You're here.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, long story short, the ethereal plane, the primes are
Screaming the
jerks.
girls. Like, who are you people?
I feel like there's just like this crew of primes who are basically Jedi ghosts now, just like hanging out.
What do you do when you're a Jedi ghost anyway?
I don't really know.
Because it's like the universe has a plan for me. Kind of.
It's not the universe, it's these jerks.
I had no idea women talked about these things. This is like a revelation for me.
You hang out with the wrong women.
I hang out with the wrong nerds.
Welcome to the Robots in Disguise panel. It's all girls.
It's so cool.
We got the same thing from Roger last week. Where are all the dudes?
They'll say the same thing.
We're below them on the sofa.
We like towering over our guests. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
We do.
Okay, I just censored there. I had a good... Okay, carry on, sorry.
I do that all the time. Every time they said yippee-ki-yay this episode, it was like, it's not Die Hard.
Yeah.
Zipping highway.
The only one who
That was
like,
so cute when she said that.
That was
somebody
cute.
do it.
Monday, Friday. What do they do when they play Die Hard on TV? Do they just say yippee-ki-yay and then just
no, it's
mute it out?
dubbed. It was dubbed.
It's usually dubbed, yeah.
No, the
What
one
do they dub it with?
When I was growing up, it was always Mother Trucker.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, this was before the advent of Showtime.
For this. That would work for Transformers.
They would never get that past the radar. No. They would never get that past. Not for a show for what, like 9 to 13-year-olds is the target
A
demographic?
little lower, yeah.
Lower.
Yeah.
They would. Okay. Gravity Falls can get it past the radar.
You're
I don't know if Robots in Disguise can.
Although Prime was Y7
Prime,
also.
yeah. Prime was a little older.
Prime was also very definitely about war.
Or
Yeah.
a little dark.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
You know, we killed the Rock in the first episode. You know, for kids.
No big.
You could only afford him for one episode, so yeah.
But we'll bring him back as a zombie. He can
Yeah, and then kill him again. And then have nobody get over his death for the rest of the series.
Yep.
Why do you guys have to keep bringing
Least of all Alexis. Alexis is not over cliff jumper.
We should probably get back to this episode.
Yes,
Let's talk about these dead guys.
Oh, jeez.
So
Katie, what up, man?
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm not allowed on the Sailor Moon panel anymore because I made jokes about dead people. So I'm
Okay,
here.
the one thing I want to talk about for sure about this episode was the fact that with the reporter, what's up with her southern accent? I want to talk about that.
Thank you, Alexis, for bringing that up because
Please.
nobody else on this show has a southern accent.
I just love how she was like, something or someone. And I was like, what are you talking about?
She came from the deep south and she wanted to make it big.
Yeah, she wanted to make it big in Crown City.
Middle of nowhere, Crown
Crown
City.
City is supposed to be sort of loosely based in Pennsylvania, if I'm correct.
And she was an intern. It was her first time. They wanted her to do her first report. All right.
That's how the primes are treating Optimus. You're the newest one. You're the intern. You do the legwork. And it's just like,
Absolutely.
I died for this war.
Oh my word.
Who voiced her?
I can't remember.
No?
Someone.
Wasn't Strong Arm?
Who, Constance? No.
Constance,
I
no?
don't-
Constance
I don't
Zimmer?
believe so.
Yeah.
That would be
Okay,
really
we'll let that
funny.
one go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Put that under the rug.
Someone on Twitter,
several
look it up on
episodes
IMDb and let us know.
Yeah.
So we have a news report, and we have a team that, despite a teamwork episode 2 weeks ago, still can't really work together. It's like herding
No.
cats for B.
And Strong Arm and Sideswipe are now out of control. Like,
guys, what's up with the wet willy? Do they actually have like
Or is there oil?
oil, fluid, transmission fluid?
Energon, I guess.
Ew. That would be like putting blood on your finger and
Yeah,
putting
that's why
it
I
in
think it's
someone.
gross.
That's really creepy.
Oh, you don't do that?
I don't know where you grew up, but
the thing I have to say, though, about that relationship is because last week we were talking about how we saw it as sort of a brother-sister relationship, but then I believe it was Mitchell was like, oh, you guys didn't see that as, like, sexual tension?
No.
that's not sexual tension.
No,
That is
it is
not orifice
sibling.
for sexual tension.
It is sibling rivalry.
As I blame Mitchell, but I totally see
Yeah.
it as sexual tension now.
No.
It's Mitchell who right now.
That is the worst foreplay I have
Mitchell
ever
who?
seen in my
You
life.
said what?
Maybe she's
I know he's
into
watching.
earplay. You don't even know, guys.
Mitchell said a lot of things last week that
Oh, no.
were evidently not all correct.
I'm with you 100% though. I saw it as sibling rivalry stuff.
Oh,
and
it absolutely.
I saw last week's as sibling rivalry, and then and with maybe a little bit of romantic stuff. But this week they were full on acting like obnoxious brother and sister.
Yeah. But, she's by the book. He's not. So.
To the point where they're getting in slap fights. Though.
just like,
Yeah, and he was losing.
He was.
That's the sad part.
Well, and
are we
Strong Arm-
surprised? She has some training. He's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
punk.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Strong
She got
Arm
it.
even did that one move, which I don't know. Do you have brothers by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
That's a move that siblings use on each other all the time, where you grab somebody's arm and put it behind their back.
yeah,
Oh,
totally.
yeah.
That is
Say
totally
uncle.
a brother sister
Yeah.
fight.
I would just attack my brother in the car sometimes, just like out of nowhere, like a side karate chop. You have to be on your toes all the time.
I'm not allowed to do that anymore because we're a martial arts family. So we actually really mess each other up.
So did you guys
Too many
catch?
arm dislocations.
Yep.
Did you catch a little visual with her boxing, practicing, and she's got
Yes,
sideswipe?
I
Okay,
yes,
good,
on the, yeah, I know, I got
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Totally noticed
It's
that.
like something's drawn on the. Oh, for the love of God!
That was really funny, though. I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah.
That was pretty great, and they are kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
Oh, yeah.
said that they're teenagers,
Yeah.
and Megan and I were talking about this. We don't think they lived through the war. We think they came about afterwards.
Yeah.
In which case, they are extremely super young.
Yeah, or certainly if they were alive during the war, I feel like they were too little to really remember it and feel the
Yeah,
impact
they were
of
just
it.
disassociated.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are definitely peacetime children.
Sweet summer children.
Time children?
Yeah, like because there's no way that Strong Arm could be as idealistic as she is if she had actually lived through the terrible
That's
time.
a good point.
Well, and you got to
makes
remember, Cybertron.
It's true, yeah.
It's a new Cybertron.
Yeah.
It's rebuilt. So.
It is.
So I would say that's correct. A correct assumption.
Thank you.
They are sweet
Excellent.
summer children. But that also explains why B can't control his team. 'Cause he's like, they don't listen to me. They're crazy.
Well,
we never
remember,
did
he
this.
hasn't been talking for how long, too?
How do I word? He doesn't remember.
Yeah, he's like, I can't find the words, but beep, beep, beep.
And then they'd be like, why didn't you just say so?
Well, he made the comment about, we never disobeyed Optimus. I wanted a supercut at that moment.
Yeah, right.
Don't leave the base when you're missing your T-cog. No racing. And don't go after Arachnid. Why did you face them alone?
Like so many things.
No, you all disobeyed Optimus.
You
all
personally
the time.
disobeyed Optimus quite a lot.
The difference, we were talking about this, the difference was that whenever they disobeyed Optimus, they never in any way lost respect for him. They still respected him a lot. They just knew that there was going to be
consequences. But if I was B,
consequences.
I'd be out there going, whoa, I killed Megatron. What's up?
Yeah, do you guys remember that? No, because you weren't there.
Well, and B doesn't know how to do the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed father look, and that Optimus had that to a T.
And I feel like probably when the season starts, not the season starts, but further on, there will be an episode where he'll do that, and it will just crush everybody. I'm waiting for it. It's going to be really awesome.
Yeah. But I love B's impersonation of Optimus.
Yes.
God.
That was fun to do.
It was so funny.
I had to get up and get a drink. I couldn't watch it.
Every time.
Come back here
Yeah.
so we can attack it
And
as a team.
Yes.
with the fun anime background.
Yeah, right.
And we were exploring at this stage too, because this was, I think, my first episode for this series. Right, you did
Yeah,
the first couple, so we were still trying to find our limitations. How far can we push these guys? How
That's
much
true.
big on the humor? And I think we went for it. And
Yeah, the first
and it
two
worked out
episodes were
great.
the experiment, and then
Yeah.
we were starting to
I
get our voice down.
loved the evolution of his Optimus impression as we went through the episode.
Yeah.
How
I
it
need the
started
body
off,
language.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
started
the
off with
body-
just the voice, then he's like, I know what I'm doing wrong. I need to do the body language. And then the last one where he was like, do not engage the Decepticons. Call your teammates.
And we will use teamwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had to go back and look at past episodes to see if Optimus does talk with his hands. And he does.
Yeah,
He does.
absolutely.
Not as wildly as
Yeah, it was a little extreme.
Oh my God.
but
Well, I was using Indian Sign Language as inspiration. Seriously, for that when all that kind of stuff was like, I thought, oh, maybe this will play through, and it's cowboy theme.
Yeah.
So,
I
Okay.
do have to ask in terms of directing those again, like Emma said, the evolution of that. How did that go about? Was it just Will Friedle going with just basing it off?
He did
of
a
Peter
great
Cullen's
job, too.
performances? Or
Yeah.
how did you guys tailor that?
Well, I mean, Will's just got awesome comedic timing.
Yeah, really good.
Really, you just go, okay, do another one.
Yeah.
And whichever one makes us laugh the hardest. is the
and
one
he
we pick.
improvises too. He'll take it somewhere that's not on
Yeah,
the script.
yeah, no.
And you go, oh, we got to put
No,
that
this
in.
was really, that was Will.
Yeah.
I mean, it was obviously written to be a funny moment, but
Right.
Will makes it his own.
That just, I can't get over it.
I was wondering, was Peter at the table read for these? Because most of the time, I know you guys like to do it as a radio play, because I just don't know
so.
if I'd be able to keep a straight face if
I
I
can't
saw
remember if we did or not. It's so long ago
Yeah.
for us.
It's a year?
I don't know if it's
Oh,
been
we don't-
that long, but
Oh.
Okay.
A ways.
It's been
It was a
bit.
while ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see Peter's
Yeah.
reaction to this, though. Like,
I
that's what
know.
you think I sound like.
He's funny in his own right in the record.
oh yeah, Peter's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm sure improvising as Optimus Prime is just one of those things.
Anyway, we should probably move on again.
Yeah. So the museum has a hold of
Yeah.
this stasis pod, and we have, oh my God, Russell and Denny going, well, we'll pose as archaeologists, and they'll give us a tour. Which, where does this take place? Where is this town that A, they believe Russell's acting, B, they believe Denny's acting, C, they believe animatronics, and D, they believe robot and car shows. But where is this place that they buy this hook, line, and sinker?
Fantastic Indiana
Yeah.
Jones
Yeah.
reference.
That's right. Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
And who knows if they actually buy into it or if they just know.
Yeah.
the Clay family, Denny Clay.
Just humor them. Just humor them.
Yeah, just humor them. They'll
I don't
go
think
away soon.
That makes sense.
They weren't buying into it until he said tickets. He
Well,
brought the money aspect into it, and then they lit up.
Okay.
I loved when they were introducing themselves, and Denny tried to introduce Russell as his intern, and Russell was like, international explorer.
McPlank.
That he did great too.
I also liked his when he was walking around by himself and he was having his own commentary. He's
narrating great. His gumshoe.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
Last time I saw that was Rescue Bots with Chase narrating his detective story.
That was good.
That was amazing.
I loved it.
Speaking of Rescue Bots, watching B try to act like a robot. There's just this density of mercury, and you just see this moment where he's trying to switch gears. Like, I don't actually know that. Wait, I need to be. How did the Rescue Bots do this? I can do this.
But you can see in his face, like, not looking Denny in the eye. Like, I cannot believe you just threw that at me.
Error. That's a good out, though. I mean, if you don't know.
That's a real... And you know he's seen enough pop culture stuff to be like, this is how they think robots act.
Yes.
Hopefully this hasn't changed in the past God knows how many decades on this planet.
Exactly.
Error.
I loved just the setting of the museum for this whole episode and all the different ways that they interacted within it, especially all the different ways that the Decepticon Terrashock interact. First of all, they went into the museum with Bumblebee being like, guys, you're gonna love Earth culture. It's awesome. And he tries to get them all excited about westward expansion and cowboys.
Yeah, why are they so happy?
I understood exactly none of that.
Yes. Yeah, and then
I've used that phrase in real life.
What do you guys think of Terrashock?
Oh,
Kevin Michael Richards.
I mean,
Bulkhead.
I recognized the voice immediately.
Good ear.
Yeah. He also voices Shredder on Ninja Turtles.
Isn't he Shredder, guys?
Yes, he's the current Shredder.
Yeah.
So Terrashock was somewhere in between his Bulkhead voice and the Shredder voice. And it's just like it does not compute.
Here's what I want to know, and I wrote the name down. His boss. I can't find it in my notes. I didn't bullet point them.
There's Contrail.
Contrail.
Yeah.
He spent the whole time looking for Contrail, and we get the one-line explanation. They're lost without someone to order them around. Who is Contrail?
I know.
What were they doing? Are they on the ship?
Do you think that we're going to see them at all this season?
That's a good question.
Engage evasive maneuvers.
We're just gonna stare at you guys for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna start looking into a mirror.
We're just gonna spitball and watch your reaction.
I could use you right now.
I have a hand mirror. Would that help? Optimus? No.
I did like when Terrashock confronted Sideswipe for the first time and was like, "Are you the bot that Contrail sent me to destroy?" And he's like, "Probably not."
And that's him going, "I've probably made enough enemies to get myself murdered at some point." Yeah.
But it was the most honest response
It really was. It really was.
I don't think so, but I can't guarantee that.
Yeah. And Terrashock's interaction with the stuffed bison.
Dear God. Dear freaking God. I was just like, really?
It was, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, that I just loved the way that the setting played so much into the action of this episode.
That's why most places have those behind glass.
It's so, roaming buffaloids don't come engage in battles with them. That happens every day.
Well, and the planetarium part of it.
Oh, the little light show.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
That was a challenge, that sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Really?
that. Yeah, because we're still, it's still working on a TV show budget, and you're trying
we wanted to do, this is all technical and probably boring, but, the planetarium stuff.
No. That's what we're here for, the technical boring stuff.
That's why
to
I'm
get
here.
spitwads shot at us.
I think you understand how much we actually want to know this stuff.
Like the planetarium, spinning with the stars moving across. I mean, that stuff is really costly when it's hand-drawn. It's one of the reasons we went the kind of direction with Robots in Disguise that we did, where it's still partially 3D with 2D, but I just love painted backgrounds, so we had to work that in. But that just made it really difficult, because it's like, how's this scene going to work? Trying to play his confusion, but at the same time, you still got to know what you're looking at. We got some robots which are very abstract designs sometimes. So, so I don't know. That was a bit of a challenge.
It was a fun sequence, though.
Yeah, and I love his sound that it makes when he's in his tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a baby heartbeat ultrasound that he did some weird stuff to. You know, so he's got that.
He did suffer from he does suffer from claustrophobia.
Yeah.
So he's
you got that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he needs to be free on the range.
I mean, he even says nobody puts TerraShock in a
favorite
tiny box.
Favorite line of the whole episode, you guys.
And I'm sure Baby from her corner agrees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, just going off of like kind of the technical stuff, I know we talked about the style and change when going from Prime, but I really like the color change too. Given that this is a much more a much more lighthearted series, it's really cool to see all those colors just pop.
Yeah,
that was the objective.
That was part of it. I mean, if you really notice, a lot of the backgrounds are subdued, so those characters will
they
pop,
really pop. Yeah,
will pop a little more. But as the shows go, I think that's one of the benefits is that we can do these full painted backgrounds. Where Prime, you're limited by how many they were in the desert all the time.
I noticed that. It's either freezing wastelands or barren deserts.
Yeah. So that was part of the reason we went into this direction. But now we can be in a museum. We can destroy it. We can go other places. I mean, they are robots in disguise.
Yes.
So we got to be in.
And we go to a
disguise.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hide from cactuses.
Definitely go to a lot more places now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Though speaking of disguising robots, I did like that they came up with the idea for transporting Grimlock to the museum of let's just throw a tarp over it.
I know, right? How many tarps are you going to see on the freeway going, oh, there's a Dinobot under there?
You're just like, that person really does not know how to pack their stuff. Look how lumpy it is. It's going to fall off at any minute.
To be fair, though, if he ever did, if the tarp ever did fall off, he could just stand still next to a freeway and could pass as a freeway tourist attraction.
I see
there's
that
one
every
of those
time
on the way to Wyoming.
Well, you had
and
the
Palm
whole
Springs. I see that.
Well, the whole ending of the episode, the whole cannonball.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Wichita Falls? Or whatever he says.
We just took their moment away.
Oh, sorry.
That was on the list, Dave. You see it on the whiteboard right there.
Do not talk about ending until ending. Okay, got it.
Spoilers.
Oh, yes, because I'm sure the people watching this haven't actually seen the episode. It's an after show. That's the point.
Okay.
They just take our word for it.
Yeah, I always watch the after show. See if I really want to invest the time in the episode.
It's nice to know what you should think about a show before you watch it, right?
Well, if the hosts open the show laughing, it's going to be okay. And if they open it wailing in pain, I know I should get the tissues now.
But I also love, speaking of Grimlock, that his cowboy Grimlock, I like the sound of that.
Yes.
It's great.
We can't find a horse big enough.
No. He'd crush it.
I also loved in this episode that we had TerraShock, who is so dumb, to show us that Grimlock really isn't that
Exactly.
I felt bad for him the way he tumbled down that off ramp.
I know. I felt
It was
really bad
brutal.
for the poor guy.
And then the slam, the body slam.
He's just doing his job. He's contract him to do something.
I do love that the
for it.
Grimlock cannonball is kind of like dropping the mic.
Right.
You are
big.
not getting back up on that.
No.
Going over that, I did feel a little bad for TerraShock because he doesn't know. He is dumb. He doesn't really know what's going on.
He's just super confused.
He's trying to do his job, and he wakes up in a tiny box,
I
and
know.
then there's
Everyone's
he's in a
attacking
museum.
him, and
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to start rooting for him or anything, but like out of the villains that we've been introduced to, he's probably the most sympathetic at the moment, just because he doesn't understand what's going on, and is probably very easily manipulated.
so if we're
Emma's like having a blast and a half over there.
Sorry, I'm just having a flashback to him again confronting the stuffed bison, where he's like, I thought I was the only person on this mission.
I know. That killed me.
Well,
Yeah,
I just think
there's
of,
a younger guy trying to take his job.
I just think of Steeljaw when he woke up.
Yeah.
He started scheming, right?
Yeah.
So if we're going for the what we think is the inevitable prison break, where the ones that we saw captured are going to get out.
Yeah.
What do you think Steeljaw's going to do with TerraShock? Oh my God, that's
don't
like a guided missile.
You have to give very specific order.
As contrail. There is everybody's contrail to the Terrorshot.
You really can't leave any windows open for interpretation.
It needs to be clear and concise.
But he could still order him around and keep up the, we're just trying to live peacefully. You know, Buffaloids, they're not very smart. He misunderstood me. I'm so sorry for the damage caused. I'll be sure to be very specific next time.
It's killing me.
I can't wait. I want to see it.
I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm honestly waiting for, and we have the poker faces on the couch here. We're like, nope.
Yeah.
It's a sign.
It's a sign.
Then there's that highway scene, I gotta say.
Yes,
I'm really proud of.
Great. B finally deciding to do things his way. And I love that the call got cut off after the, well, you're not me. Yeah, thanks. You misunderstand. Switch to Verizon. And it took Russell to have the emotional intelligence to go, maybe he didn't mean that it's bad that you're not him. Maybe he meant be you.
Yeah, which I think is a great advice for, especially for kids at this time, because they're kind of trying to be they're trying to find their individuality at this point. I mean, not at 7, but you know what I mean. So it would be kind of good for kids to know, like, you know what, I don't have to be like this person. I can just be me.
Yeah.
Would you say that he should be himself?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, be yourself.
Survey says.
So that
I regret nothing.
So that car chase, guys.
Amazing. Yippee-ki-yay.
No. Hers was, what was it? Yippee Zippy High.
Yeah,
that was
Zippy Highway.
I was gonna I almost said Zippy Freeway because it's like LA and we all just call it freeway around here.
Which this whole scene would not have been possible in LA, by the way.
No,
they can't move that fast.
quickly.
I was thinking the whole time, like, where are the cars?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
But there was scaffolding.
Yeah,
That
there was scaffolding.
pretty
I was like,
That's the 405.
And there were other cars on the road. In fact, I wrote down that obviously James Bond car chase rules applied to this scene because, like, the cops never showed up.
It's Crown City.
It's
They're on the honor system.
Yeah.
Totally. Strong Arm does cut off a big rig in that scene.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that?
I saw that.
Just before we see it.
What are you gonna do if you're the semi-driver, though? Say that a cop cut you off? You
Yeah.
Totally a dinosaur,
And I have to say, that was actually my justification in my brain
is.
for why the cops didn't show up. I was like, oh, well, Strong Arm's involved and she's a police SUV.
that was
Does
ours,
she
too.
have a siren?
Yeah, she uses it sometimes.
Well, then, at that point, you have someone with a siren coming up. Everyone should be pulling over.
Yeah.
Did she
that would
use
have
it?
been fun.
I believe she used it in this scene. I think she had her lights going, but she didn't use the siren.
Yeah, I don't think she.
I don't even think the
I
lights
did
were
it
on.
originally in the first pass of the mix, but it just didn't work with the music.
Yeah.
You get this,
And I love the music, by the way.
Oh,
He did fantastic.
There were a
Like
few
7
times.
lights.
Yeah.
There were a few times in this episode that I wrote down, oh man, the music is so good. And this was definitely one of them.
Kevin Kiner did Clone Wars.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
We just
Fantastic
really
composer.
good cowboy western
Oh my
chase
God,
something
yes.
down
Yeah.
music. It was great.
Yes.
It reminded me a lot of the music from Back to the Future 3.
That makes sense.
That one in particular.
Yeah, there's a little
that makes
city
sense.
slickers in it.
Well, it's
too.
funny for the animatic, for when we put the storyboards together, as a temp track, I used the Magnificent Seven theme.
Okay.
So if you listen to it again, you can kind of hear it. He did pick up some little beats and
I'm gonna have to
notes
go
from
back
that.
and rewatch
Yeah.
That sounded familiar.
Were there any other Western
But it worked.
Easter eggs that you guys tried to incorporate in this episode?
Now I'm trying to remember. What was cut.
If there's something that was cut, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
If you can tell us, we'd love to hear about what didn't quite make it.
Yes, please.
Can't even really remember. All I remember is we
I'm
had.
trying to invent something really juicy, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of room to cut. It's already there.
We decided to cut a scene where Sideswipe and Strong Arm kiss. Yeah, we
No.
were like, there's no
There was another conversation
Bumblebee, the
about
good Optimus, was his father.
Yeah, that didn't play well in the boards.
Most of our cuts are like, there was this shot where she turned left and then right. Now she just turns right.
For a second there, I was like, what is she like? Zoolander? She can't turn left? Like, what?
And I was going with Doctor Who. Like, did we just end the world?
Yeah.
Right?
totally changes the entire plot.
But it is funny when you see when she's fighting. Okay, they're in the Western exhibit, right?
Yes.
Terrashock throws her. She lands by some cavemen, which I thought was actually kind of funny that they're right next to the, the Western.
Yes,
that's true. Well, museum budget.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a big display about humans.
It's Crown City. It's just kind of a small museum.
It was the intern.
I mean, they fully believed it when Russell came out dressed as an employee.
Thank you. I was like, he's a child. What? He obviously doesn't work there.
Maybe they have museum volunteers
bring
who
your
are
child.
children.
Yeah,
Exactly.
bring your child to work day.
There you
guys,
go.
stop it.
Don't brain twinning. We share the same spark. That got intimate.
Whoa. By the Allspark.
I do love that Sideswipe was the first and easiest to take to, we're just going to chase him and run into him. I can do that.
Right.
Those are orders I can follow.
Then he immediately goes up on the shoulder like, yeah, this is what I'm made for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the whole... That was you, right? That made him on the Bronco, like doing the kind of Bronco thing.
That was great.
Yeah,
Did I personally board that?
Yeah.
No, that was not. I didn't do that
thought you did
section. No.
Looked like your stuff.
With Sideswipe.
I did all the sign stuff.
and
Steel third.
Right.
And it was awesome.
But I do love that we had everyone going, I can take it down on my own. Have we not learned anything?
Trust fall, guys. Trust fall.
We've had a whole bunch of episodes with the teamwork and the teamwork work. Last episode with Bisque. Whose name I will never get over.
God.
He's awesome. He's one of my favorites.
He's fun.
But we've seen that
down, left, right.
we've seen that they can't.
Well, no, this is always an
Konami
adjustment.
code in real life.
So great.
My
But this
cheeks
is
are
always
getting
an
sore.
adjustment. I know, it's so...
They really.
But this is why I'm having some adjustment issues, because we started off Prime where they were already a team and a unit and a family, even if they didn't call themselves a family until later on. But here they have to learn how to be a team, and I always take a little bit of issue with that because I like to hit the ground running.
Right.
I like seeing people just have that teamwork and then going back later and going, well, that's how we became a team. Because starting off this way, we have to have multiple teamwork episodes. And for me, that gets a little repetitive, but I know it's good character development stuff, so I'm trying to get over it.
Yeah. There's a lot of episodes, so you've got a lot more to go. Come on, it's only show 5.
I know.
We're not patient. We want more. China has everything.
They do.
They do.
And I have to say, I actually really am enjoying the character development aspect.
Right.
And I
Yeah, me
also
too.
find it to be extremely realistic that they have a moment in the last episode where they all come together as a team and they beat the bad guys and it's great. And then in the next episode, they're still working out.
Because that's real life.
That is real life.
You constantly go through regression and you have to build to that.
Much as we like to think
that.
we don't repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again.
We do.
It's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, it's the only way you learn. And especially, I think, because you have these characters of Strong Arm and Sideswipe who are supposed to be basically adolescents, it's even more accurate that they just keep making the same mistakes over and over again.
I really want someone to just clonk their heads together. Like, actually, physically, cut it out!
I'm sure Grimlock will do that at some
It's funny that you
point.
brought that up, though, because every single time that Bumblebee was, like, breaking them up, I thought he was just going to go smack and then get it together. You know?
Megatron.
He could have done that in the teaser.
He could have.
It's like, well, Optimus wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
it
Optimus.
makes sense.
But if someone had actually pointed out when everyone went to split up, instead of his doing, work with your team, if he just, the arms have to go up for that. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should be. The gestures,
a lot
have
of
been
hand
great this
gestures
episode.
going on.
But if he just pointed out, guys, last time we took on something like this on our own, we got our tailpipes handed to us. If we don't do this as a team, it's gonna happen again. I don't care if you're not getting along, meet up here, now.
Yeah, and if they learned anything from Chop Shop,
Oh my God.
That a team works well together.
A legion of spiders.
A legion of spiders forming one.
we still have Hunger Like the Wolf and Legion of Spiders out there in the world somewhere. So goodness knows
call
what
them Hunger Like a Wolf. The
Yeah.
Duran Duran song. For
I called him that last week too.
Did you? I missed that.
Yes.
I missed that completely.
Yeah, we have Hungry Like the Wolf and Legion of Spiders.
Dear
Everyone
God.
who gets away gets a nickname. It's like the Flash.
Yeah.
Oh, so what's Terror Shock?
He didn't get away. They
true.
caught him, so
Alright.
he's
Duh.
Terror
Got
Shock.
him.
He's gonna earn his nickname.
Yeah. Once he breaks free, then we will reward him with a
Alright.
nickname.
Yep.
All right.
Cue the Queen song.
That was a goofy laugh moment.
Well, at least it
Caught
wasn't an
yourself.
80s laugh moment because at that point the show would be over.
Yeah.
We did get the riding off into the sunset bit, which was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a good
Nice
way to
button.
wrap all this up.
And I really liked the bonding that happened between Russell and Denny in this episode
Yes.
as well, because it was as much about them connecting as a team as it was about Bee and the other Autobots plus Grimlock building their own teamwork.
Right.
Yeah.
As much as I liked we got the information drop for, Optimus is hanging out with the Primes and they're dictating his phone calls. That's interesting. As much as I like that, I think Russell and Denny had the best parts of this episode.
Yeah.
Just being the PR team.
Yeah, I completely agree.
They got
great.
they got interesting stuff to do in this episode, and they had their moments of disagreement when they first got to the museum, but ultimately the two of them worked together when Bumblebee was outside the museum with all the people seeing him, and they came up with the idea to have him be a robot.
Right.
And so, Russell had a moment of seeing like, oh, Dad, that was a really good idea. And he's like, yeah, it's because you were here to support me.
Yeah. But that's also because they're seeing Bumblebee's mistakes. I mean, if you remember the first two episodes,
exactly.
he hasn't seen his dad. Mom's in Copenhagen, and
And Dad kept
you're
his
going to
room
live here
with
in
the
the
exact same
junkyard,
way.
the scrapyard with Dad.
Yeah.
So they've had this kind of like they're not gelling right off. So them growing throughout the series too is really cool.
Yeah.
And I like seeing that from them. And I like getting the sense that they are an actual part of the team. Because as much fun as Prime was, it was definitely the bots and the humans up until season 3, season finale-ish. And it took a while for the bots to see them as more than the kittens we adopted.
Yeah.
There are no kittens in this series.
No.
They're
Giving
immediately
Miko
part
a
of the
mech
team.
suit helped.
Yeah, she was always a wrecker at heart. Giving her
Yeah.
the ability to break some faces was... where did that go?
I don't know
Who
where the
has
Apex
the
armor
Apex
went.
armor?
I don't know.
And I
Try to take it from
I'm
her.
trying to remember.
All I
Did
say
it go
is
back on the Nemesis and the?
I would
don't
assume
know.
because
With
the last time we saw it, I don't remember if it was in the movie, but if it wasn't, then the last time we saw it was Miko wearing it when she was fighting Soundwave. And in which case, if that was the last time we saw it, try to take it from her.
I know, right?
I don't see
Never.
anybody trying that.
And speaking
It probably
of,
blew up when the base blew up.
Maybe.
Was it the second time?
I thought we had covered it later. No?
Did we?
No.
Maybe it was a cutscene.
Yeah.
on the cutting room floor, with Bumblebee
We'll
fighting
go
about
we'll
voices
back to
of father.
that.
but we also, and this is what I'm interested about because we saw in Prime, this stuff winds up on the internet very quickly. Footage of this is going to wind up on the internet, and there are people on Earth who know, hey, the bots exist. Why are they back? How soon till Agent Fowler gets a hold of this? How soon till we
I
see
assume
Jack or
he's
Miko
retired.
Those are
I
good
know it's
questions. Really good questions.
I know
That
from
was
the
actually my
comic
first
book-
thought, Katie, that you said that.
Where's
I was like,
Agent Fowler?
Where's Agent Fowler?
On the couch.
Agent Flowers.
Agent Fowler.
Yeah, he's on the
Buggles.
couch.
Yeah.
Retired and
PS4 with Jack.
Yeah.
He's retired and living on like an island in the Florida Keys. Just
Yeah.
He
have a
would
nice
be.
life.
Yeah,
He's
with,
like, I
with
have
Raph.
earned this.
Raph hasn't grown
Exactly.
any taller, but he's got a big full mustache now.
Well, and I know from the Comic-Con panel last year, they said nobody from Prime would show up until season 2. The mythical season 2 that may or may not
That
exist
was-
despite what we've been told.
Yeah.
Optimus, I need your help right now.
You can see your reflection.
The reflection of the wall over there.
Yeah, but every time I say
I'm going to text our producer, Therese, to see how we should answer that.
These girls are picking on us.
They want to know they want to know these answers. We don't know what to say. Is Hasbro going to be mad? Probably shouldn't spoil anything.
Yeah,
we're not if we want to be. We gotta wait.
Well, yep.
That's right.
Not if we want to be on
basically
season
cover
2.
for this
That
week?
basically covers it. Do you guys have any questions?
I just want to know what drew you guys in particular to this project, to Robots in Disguise.
Well, we were both from Prime, and we came on. I came on at the very beginning of Prime, at the beginning before we had Hasbro Studios and stuff. For me, Prime was a big accomplishment and something I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
And when we were wrapping it up, and it's like, this is the end. Hey, we're going to do another Transformer show. I'm just like, I don't know. Do I want to do that? But
you struggled with it a little bit.
I did at the beginning. You fought
it just a little bit.
Like Jeff Klein, our executive producer, we've been friends for a while, and I've worked on several shows with him, and I have the complete faith in him. And he was pitching me the show. I'm like, this is actually pretty cool. You got B and a team. They're going after, the prison ship. It's almost got this kind of cop show vibe to it,
right.
And then, when they started talking about these characters and even Denny and Russell, which fans, give or take the human side of things, it's still, it's nice to have them in there, but they had this really strong relationship that gives them a reason to be there and to interact with these bots and all these things together. And of course, Todd, we had Benton Hoyk and Scooter Tidwell, our other directors.
The other directors.
We don't have to talk about them, though. They didn't sacrifice their Sunday. No, this isn't a sacrifice. I asked to be here. I wanted to be here.
Jeez. Well, there's an open slot on season 2.
I'm going to say, was that legit, or are we getting some steel drum here?
I'm going to just add to what you said. Also, that I welcomed it because I like the idea that we're going to play a little younger audience. That there was going to be more comedy involved. And so it was going to be a little lighter. That was still the action, but a little bit lighter.
Yeah, it was still a boys' action show, I guess. But
a boys' action show?
That's what they call
Look where
them.
you are.
Yeah.
Throw that one out the window.
Yeah. Well, they said that about Prime too, and RC was never on the shelves. She kept selling out.
Yeah, she did.
So let's hope Strong Arm does.
Hey, fans, let's do that with Strong Arm.
Yeah.
Yes.
But just that whole team back together, and then. I'm also the art director on the show, so getting the chance, I'm working with Jose Lopez again, and Vince Toyama, our background supervisor, and Christophe Vacher, who does he was our lighting guy, but now he's in control of all these paintings, fantastic artist.
Yeah. Won an Emmy? Did he get 2?
I think
for
he
this,
did.
for Prime?
He had one on each shoulder. Like he was going around like Ultra Magnus.
French guys always take all the honors.
But getting this whole team together was just fantastic, and that it's the same team. Like we all have that Prime knowledge coming in here, and then we get a bunch of new faces on the team too, and getting this kind of new vibe on the characters and seeing how they react to it is fantastic. So, for me personally, the show is up there with Prime, as far as my career and my passion and the love for Transformers. And it's like, okay, there is life after Prime. This show is freaking this show is awesome. Like, after every episode, I'm just like, oh, gotta go get the directors. Let's go watch it again.
Yeah, it's funny because when you screened it with me after your post, and the first time you watch it, you're so critical of it. It's just like, I'm seeing all the mistakes in there and the way it's cut. And then, Therese said, you're going to be on the show. You better watch it again. So I watched it just before coming on, and I said, wow, this is really a lot of fun. I didn't quite have that same.
And I like where the
critical
series is going. I hope you guys will too. It's pretty cool.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, we are definitely in it to win it for this one.
Awesome.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole point with this show, too, is that Bumblebee is doing things his own way. The show is doing things its own way, too. I like
Cue
that.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
We are. Eventually, I'm actually going to have song cues that I can just.
I was going to say, is that the...
Don't give her that power. Anyway.
But we are running out of
getting
time,
the hook.
unfortunately. So, where can the fans find you if they want more information or if they'd like to talk with you?
Well, I'm on SideshowMonkey.com. It's my personal website. It has different emails and stuff. Haven't done Twitter yet, but Facebook, David Hartman.
Is my Twitter, is it going to be put down on here somewhere?
Yeah.
Can you guys do that? Yeah. Todd H2O Man. Todd Waterman Todd H2O Man. Todd J. I don't even know. I never.
H2O meant Waterman. Oh,
Waterman.
I did it. Yeah.
So
it's on here somewhere.
Those of you listening on iTunes may need to check the YouTube video for this one.
Yeah. Sorry.
We'll tweet it out. It's
Tweet it out for me.
We will. It'll be great.
We will.
Look it up.
Sorry, I'm just switching some things around. I apologize.
Help me, Alexis.
She's a woman of many skills.
I'm running some things. But anyway, you can find me all over the interwebs as ATorres890. You can follow me here at AfterBuzz for the Castle After Show. The new show that just came out, The Messengers. And that's going to be on Mondays, I believe, at 5. We might be changing it, so check out my Twitter there. And also help out my family. We're doing basketball things on VTEliteBasketball.com.
All right.
Katie, you can find me on Twitter.
Neither.
Sorry. Emma, that's me. Emma Fyffe. That's also my Twitter handle. You can find me on Instagram there, Pinterest, all the social media things, etc. You can also watch me for the next few weeks on the Sailor Moon Crystal After Show. I'm filling in for the girl next to me.
Thank you.
And if you like Sailor Moon or you like listening to the sound of my voice, I also do a Sailor Moon podcast outside of here called Love and Justice. Look it up. It's on iTunes.
And I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at @themenguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, including starting next week, Orphan Black. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I've also started writing articles for the Movie Chicks, so be sure to check those out.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I'm also on the Arrow After Show on Wednesday nights, and things have gone insane on Arrow, so that's well worth watching. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to follow us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, all those fun things. Rate, subscribe, give us 5 stars if you love us, because that's what helps keep the lights on in this building and lets our producers know that you like what we're doing, so we get to keep doing it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. Have a great evening. Transform and roll out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.